Okay, does anybody know what this picture is? No. There was a missionary here in this country. His name was John Booth, and he founded the Salvation Army. Have you heard of Salvation Army? William, I'm sorry, thank you, William Booth. Thank you. I'm getting them mixed up. And William Booth had a dream, and in that dream, he saw the rolling ocean, and there was a big rock, and there was a platform in front of that rock, and the people in the world were drowning in the ocean, and there were people on the platform representing the church, and they were the people assigned to rescue the people in the world. And the funny thing in the dream that he had was that the people on the platform in the church were caught up with every other type of activity which he's symbolized. Sorry, the picture's not that crisp to focus. It's hard to get a good. I have the actual paper copy of the painting at home, but it shows people talking on the phone. Some are caught up in a relationship, some in they're fishing, some into music, some lifting weights. And he said they became disinterested. And the funny thing was, they were once the people in the ocean drowning and were rescued, but then they lost all interest in going and getting the other people. You can actually find this dream. You can just Google it and find it. It's a very interesting read. And he had this dream, and he said, I got to do something about all of these people that are drowning. I got to do something to wake up the people in the church who kind of like lost what they're supposed to be doing. I don't normally, that's a slide to actually focus the camera. I don't normally talk about those, but that dream of William Booth he was actually, I believe, riding on a train, and he fell asleep and had that dream, and it started his ministry. And I am hoping and praying that new ministries will start as a result of these Gazeley meetings. This is our last 2 meetings on the Gospel of Health this weekend, and our subject is Simple Natural Remedies. This is part 1. And all the trouble that's in the world, we're a little bit too high. Can you reduce the size of the picture, John? And so that we're just smaller. All the trouble that's in the world makes some things, just make it smaller picture, smaller, because we have words at the bottom too. Make some things, what does it say there in yellow? Read that for me. Make some things more important. And here's 2 important statements to start off our meeting. It says, as religious aggression subverts the liberties of our nation, those who would stand for freedom of conscience will be placed in unfavorable positions. What's the words in pink say? What we're going to start to show you this morning, it's something that you need to know. This is not even talking about the people out there. For your sake, you need to pay attention to this. They should, while they have opportunity, become intelligent in regard to 4 things. What are they? It's causes, prevention, and cure. Those who do this will find a field of labor anywhere. There'll be suffering ones, plenty of them, who will need our help. It goes on to say that the shortness of time demands an energy that has not been aroused. The other statement, the only other statement that we're going to put up here, is that in the book of Medical Ministry, it says the distinction between, it said diseases, causes, prevention, and cure. The distinction between preventing disease and cure has not been made sufficiently important. All weekend long, we've been talking about eating in the last days. We've been talking about praying in the last days. We've been talking about fasting, exercising in the last days. Those are lifestyle changes that will help to prevent illness. And it goes on to say, teach the people that it is, what does it say there? What's that word? Better to know how to what? Keep well than to? Everybody wants to be a natural therapist. They want to be an herbalist and a hydrotherapist. And so I can help you. But it says the most important thing is to teach people how to keep well. My job is to help you not to get cancer, lupus, arthritis, hypertension. Try to teach you what you can do so that you don't get these catastrophic illnesses. But we're really emphasis in the curing part. But the prevention is largely done through lifestyle changes, which is my big burden. But we're talking this morning about the curing part. And in plain English, the way people are cured is through it's God's power, his miraculous working power, working through simple, what? Natural remedies. What does that mean? Simple means that it's what? It's not complicated. If somebody comes to you and says, oh, I know what we can do for that health problem, you got to take these 17 herbs. It's golden seal, peppermint tea, it's castor oil. That is complicated. If someone is sick and they have their nose is all clogged up, and you say, here's a dandelion. Go put that in the pot, steep it, drink it 3 times a day for the next 5 days. They'll say, oh, thank you. You know who gets the glory for that? God does. You didn't make the dandelion. But you start talking about 17 different herbs, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, I got to go to this therapist or that therapist. So we need to keep it, what does it say here? Simple. And you know it's simple when it is easy to learn. You're going to see some things this morning. After you see it once, you can do it. You don't have to go to a school, college, university for 10 years. It's going to be simple. And that's one of the hallmarks. That's the beauty of what God does. It needs to be, what's the second word? Natural means just as it occurs in nature. That's important. It's not synthetic. It's not man-made. That way God can get the glory for it. If somebody has to go and make it up in a lab, then they get the glory for it and the profit. But if it's something that you can just go, and that's why modern medicine's against it. They can't make a lot of money on something that you can grow in your backyard for free. They have to make it. They have to make it synthetic so that they can make profit from it. But what we're trying to teach is how to use the things, what does it say there? As they occur in nature. That's what natural means. And remedy just means that it actually does. It doesn't just treat symptoms. It doesn't just pick fruit off of the tree. It actually fixes the problem. Oh, I have one more statement. The last statement is, I wish to tell you that, what does it say? Soon there will be no work done in ministerial lines except what? Medical missionary work. To work, the work of a minister is what? Most of them think it's to preach. If a man just preaches all the time, he ends up being arrogant. He gets pride in his own opinion. Once he starts serving, that's when the compassion and humility comes. So all preachers need to serve. I need to be in the kitchen over here. I've been holed up in my room making slides, but I need to be sweeping the floor, bringing the tables out. All people that lead need to work. What does medical missionary work mean? It means you're dealing with the physical and mental health. And a lot of people are afraid. Oh, that's for the doctors and nurses. No. It says in 6T, page 62, it says every member of the church should do it. So you don't have to be a doctor or a nurse. What does missionary mean? It means that some kind of way what you're doing should point people to Jesus. Got to talk about Jesus. Even the atheists and the evolutionists that don't want to hear about it, they just want to get well, and they become resistant. They don't want you to pray. Because I ask people, do you mind if I pray? And some people will say, I really don't want you to pray. When that happens, this is what you do. You pray silently. They say they don't want you to pray. You don't just go, well, I'm going to pray anyway. You know, oh, Lord, help this. No, you just start praying silently. But some people, they'll brace against prayer. But your goal is a spiritual goal. You're not trying to make healthy sinners, that they can do sin stronger and longer because they have more strength, they've recovered. You're trying to address their spiritual problem. If they're Christians, you're trying to strengthen their hold on Christ. Even people that are Christians, Christians get beat up pretty bad there to get discouraged. So while you're working with them, you're trying to help them in their spiritual walk. And this is the operative word, the yellow word. It's called, what's it called? It's medical missionary work. What that means is that it's not talk. There are a whole lot of medical missionary talkers. I was just at a church. I can't tell stories. We run out of time. I was just at a church, and one of the sisters wasn't there. It was a home church. And we called her, and she said, I have a terrible cold. And you could hear her. She was coughing and sneezing. So I told the brothers and sisters there, I said, after our church service, a couple of them live by her. Why don't you go by our house and take her some garlic? And she could take some garlic pills. And he said, oh, yeah, we got it. They didn't do it. I went home, and I called, did you guys take our sister the garlic pill? They said, no, we forgot. And so that was my fault. After the church service was over, I should have got the garlic pills myself and took it to the sister, because I asked her, she said, I don't have any. And so this is where the rubber hits the pavement. How many of you are busy? How many of you are busy? You're busy people. Let me tell you something. Medical missionary work will almost always come at the most inconvenient time. God is going to test you if you will stop your schedule and go minister. Oh, can I tell you one more story? I was in Sweden doing some meetings just like this. And I try to be on time. I really do. I don't like being late, and I don't like other people being late. So I was leaving early. I was running behind. I was just 5 minutes from my meeting, but I was still going to make it. It was a walk, probably about 200 meters to the hall from where I was staying. Had my computer. I'm coming out the door, and one of the students said, Brother Skeete. He had an infected big toe. He said, I don't want to be late. It's going to take me a long time. Would you carry me to the meeting room? I'm not going to tell you the person's name. You might know this brother. This brother he weighed almost 100 kilos. He's a big guy. I'm like, are you kidding me? He said, no. I said, come on. So he got on my back. I'm behind my computer, and I'm walking around trying to get, and I don't want to be late. I get to class. He said, thank you for the ride. And so I taught the class. No problem. He was not in a rush after that. Every morning when it was time for class, he would ask me for a lift. I was coming out of my room like this. I'd open the door and I'd look. I don't see that brother. I said, Brother Skeete! So what I'm saying is that God was testing me. He said, you want to be a medical missionary teacher? I'm going to see if you will disrupt your schedule. Because you guys raise your hands, you're busy. I got 60-hour work weeks. I got stuff people calling people stuff. I got 10 building projects at home. I got 2 big gardens. I'm busy, but I have to. When people are hurting, you have to inconvenience yourself. Jesus, because he would do this, there are stories in the Bible, he was on the way to help someone, and someone came. He stopped and healed that person and then continued his journey. He was willing to be interrupted, and he spent more of his time doing what? Than to preaching. Our first simple natural remedy this morning is it involves what's called therapeutic touch. Touch is restorative. Touch is restorative. Let's start with our lovely couple here. Mark and Yvonne, could you come here for a moment? Real quickly. Come quickly. I'm not going to ask for volunteers. I'm just going to give assignments, okay? And I want you to hug her for at least 6 seconds. I want you guys to count, okay? Are you ready? 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 Okay. 1, 2, 3. Count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, you may be seated. Thank you very much. That's what you saw right there. Here's what the slide says. There's a bunch of studies on this. You can Google it. You'll find they've done a lot of studies that hugging 4 times a day for 6 seconds or more will raise the chemical in the brain that is that's a mood elevator. It creates happy feelings. It reduces blood pressure. My wife has a prayer partner. She has persistent hypertension. I mean, she's taking 2 drugs and it won't come down. And we told her husband, you and your husband need to hug 4 times a day. It brought her blood pressure down immediately. And it strengthens the immune system by affecting the white blood cells. Okay, I want all 4 of you to get up right now. Come on, quickly. You got to move because we got to cover a lot of stuff. Now, you can't just hug anybody. Is that correct? A man, even a man hugging another man, people get uncomfortable with it. They get uncomfortable with it. So if you're church members, you all go to the same church here. Okay, you're going to kind of face in a circle right here. You all go. We're all 5 of us in the same circle. Okay, we'll go here. We all go to the same church, and we're not supposed to be hugging each other all the time. True. But look, if we do this is what I do when I say, okay, let's interlock elbows. Come on. And at the end of Sabbath school, we'll just stand around like this, just this close. And at first, when I started doing it with these young people, they didn't want to do it. But after a while, we would just stand here. I'm talking for the last 5 minutes of Sabbath school. And this is okay, you guys can go sit down. This is actually a form of hugging, but it's non-invasive, but it's much more contact than you're used to having with people. And just standing like that. Now, this at the end of Sabbath school, sometimes we do hand to hand, and sometimes elbow to elbow. And we're just standing there for the last 7-8 minutes of Sabbath school. Now let's go around and I'll say, Aaron, are you praying? How's your prayer life? No, Brother Skeete, I ain't praying. Okay, we're going to pray for that. Lydia, are you praying? I'm praying a little bit. When do you pray? Just over my food. That's not enough. Then we just go around the room and we just start talking. And just standing, touching each other, it's helping us to bond. It's sending the message that we're in support of each other, that we care about each other. Women should hug each other. If you know someone is hurting, they come to church, or you see them, or they tell you on the phone when you see them, hug them. And it's not just this. Some people hug like this. You hug that person. You don't put your hips on their hips, but you hug them. You can even do what I call the you can do this is what I will do with a woman that's hurting and my wife's not there. I do this. I'll say, sister, I'm praying for you. You see that? It's called a side hug. Some people think that it's wrong, but I don't think it's wrong. And just a side hug like this can actually really lift people's spirits. There's a lot of people hurting. And touch is actually healing. The Bible says in Luke chapter 4 and verse 40 that when they brought sick people to Jesus, it says, he laid his hands on, it says, every one of them. That's what it says in Luke chapter 4 and verse 40. Now, we're going to learn something this morning. I'd like, we're going to pair off, and half of you are going to remain seated. The other half of you are going to stand behind the chair of the person you're massaging. And we're going to do it right now in class. Now, this is how we're going to pair off. You either have to be a family member. So if you're siblings, you can pair off. You have to be married. That's another okay way to pair off for a massage. Or you have to be paired off with someone of the same sex. So if it's just a friend or a church member, someone you met, they need to be, if you're a woman massaging, it needs to be a lady. If you're a man massaging, it needs to be a man. So I'd like for us, the half of you stay seated, the other half of you get up and stand behind the chair of the person. Right now, stand. You're going to have to move this morning because we got to cover some stuff. And this is going to be so simple. Once you see it, you'll have it. Once you see it, you'll have it. So just stand behind somebody. Come on now. Jump up. Are you ready? All right. All right. All right, my brother, why don't you come here? All right. Now watch this now. I think what I'll do is I'll go to the... I left it in my pocket. Okay. All right. Are you ready? Shh. Okay, sit down here, my brother. All right, are you ready? Listen. Shh. Shh. All right. Let's go over a few things first. It says massage is, what's that next word? Skillful application of the hands. So that means what you're going to do today is you're just a beginner. It will not be as effective as someone who's done it a lot. The more you do it, the better you'll be able to do it. Because, listen, friends, listen, your hands have to follow the contour of the body. You can't just keep them like two hard blocks of wood, okay? Or they can't be like claws. They have to actually adapt to the pressure, and that takes some practice. And you need to understand that touch can communicate love. I can touch this brother, and the way that I'm touching him, it's saying I care about you. Or touch can communicate anger. I can grab him in a certain way, and he'll know that I'm angry with him. It can communicate that I don't care at all, that I'm entirely indifferent. So listen, the way that you touch people is actually communicating something without words. The person being massaged or poulticed or natural therapy on, they usually, not all the time, but they usually, when they become comfortable, start talking. Your job is to listen. What did I say? You're not thinking about what you're going to do when you get home. You want to check that text that just came in. You're listening to what they're saying. It's not your job for you to give your Daniel 11 study to that person. The king of the north came against the king of the south. That person is actually wanting to tell you about what's on their heart. So you're listening, and sometimes they'll ask you questions. Listen, shh, shh. When they start asking you questions, you have gone to the next level. You've gone to the level that you wanted to get to. And they might be starting questions, well, where did you learn massage? But as soon as they start asking questions, the conversation now has evolved into something very helpful. And they are asking you to give them information. So when you're massaging someone, listen when they're talking. You might have to massage them 2 or 3 times before they really open up, but they will. Before you massage, you should always wash your hands first before you massage. And these are all massages that are done fully clothed, but still you should wash your hands. And the initial touch should be in a non-invasive place. Never touch the person. The first time that you touch them is their hand. A hand is very intimate. Never touch them on their face or their hips. So usually to establish your connection with them, one of the safest places is the shoulder. And so the way that and you also want your hands to be warm. So the way that we start this is called, what's it called? What's the massage called? It's called, read it for me, at the top of the screen. What happens is that your girlfriend comes over, ladies, and she says, oh, my husband made me mad today. And as soon as she says that, you say, sweetheart, take a seat. Or if your brother talking with a brother and he's like, I got stressed on this job. This man was talking to me rude. Brother, take a seat. Sit down. You have them sit down, and the first thing you do is shoulder rocking. So I want you to put your hands on their shoulder. And let me tell you something about massage. It is best done S-L-O-W. What does that spell? Best. How come you guys are massaging right there? Get up and massage Noah or somebody. Okay, so you're listen. You're not rocking them side to side by manually pushing them left and right. We're videotaping. I'd like for you to pay attention. We're pushing down one side and pushing down the other, and that will cause them to rock. We're not moving them like this. You're pushing down one shoulder, stretching that muscle on this side, and you're pushing down the other. And it's done. What speed? So do that. Push down. You have to stand behind the person. Are you doing it? I see nobody's pushing. Push left shoulder. Come on. Push right shoulder. Push left shoulder. Push right shoulder. Let's turn your chair a little bit. So, John, you can focus in on this. You can zoom in on this, perhaps, because our students are having difficulty. All right. There has to be some. There has to be some pressure. You got to stretch a little bit. Okay, so this is how you're warming up your hands. And it says at the bottom of the screen there that during your massage that you should pray And you should touch a safe place like the shoulder, and you should pray silently with every stroke. After you've warmed up there, the next place that we're going to do in this massage is forehead circles. So I'm just going to put my hand back here to stabilize his head, and I'm going to put my hand on his forehead. And listen now, listen. I'm just moving the skin in a circle like this. My hand is not sliding across the skin. I'm putting enough pressure so that I'm moving the skin in a circle. And it's done slowly. Slowly, my brother, slowly. It's not done fast. So go ahead, massage the forehead. Go ahead, go ahead. Okay. Some people are uncomfortable with that. If not, just skip that part. And you just do slow circles. There's muscles all right here, right behind the forehead, and they're tense. And actually, when you put pressure on them, those muscles relax. The next thing it says, make small circles on the temple. So my hand is not sliding on his temples. Could you remove your glasses, please? My hands are not sliding on his temples. I'm just holding the skin, and I'm moving the skin in circles. How's that feel? Okay. Aaron, go slower. Slow, easy, yeah. It's not like this. You're just nice and slow. All right. Can you hit the next button there, Roger? It's that arrow button on the right, in the corner there. Now watch what it says here. It says, if allowed, got to get permission. If allowed, make small circles on the scalp. Why does it say if allowed? Some people don't want you messing with their hair. Everything will break down right there. You have a fist fight right there in your massage session. So you say, is it okay if I massage your scalp? Yeah. So you get permission. Okay, listen, then you put your fingertips on the top of their head, thumb, all 5 fingers, thumb and 4 fingers, and you just start moving the skin. And then you release and move to another spot so that you move over the whole head. I'm going over the front of the scalp, the top of the scalp, the back of the scalp, the side, and I'm moving the skin.
How much pressure are you putting on?
I have some significant pressure.
Yeah. Yep.
So it's like about what you're doing. They should feel it. They should feel your fingers, that they're not guessing. You don't want to touch them so like they don't know. You're actually trying to move that skin around. And this does remarkable things for doing scalp massage. You can also put your hand on the front so that you stabilize the head to get the back. And you want that skin to really move as far as it can move. All right, hit the next button for us, Roger. Okay, next button, please. This is them just moving from the front of the scalp to the back of the scalp. All right, now you're going to stabilize the head by putting your hand in the front. Where did we start? What's the first thing that we did? Shoulder rocking to warm our hands and loosen them up and get them, we were stepping within their space. And the next thing we did was what? Forehead massage. Whew, you guys got to start writing stuff down because forgot already. Then from the forehead we went where? Temple. And then went to the top of the head, did the whole top of the head, and now where are we going? To the neck. Stabilize one hand and squeeze the neck muscles on and off. So you're just going to watch this now. Be very careful with this. You're holding the front of their head, and you're just squeezing those necks, not too hard. Just gently squeezing those neck muscles at the top of the neck, the middle of the neck. Hit that next button for us, Roger. I'm sorry. I got to get the remote, Win. It's in my bag. And then go down. Next button, it's the bottom of the neck. So you're doing the top of the neck, the middle of the neck, the bottom of the neck. All right. Everybody stop. We're going to go right to the top. Are you ready? We're going to start from the top. Shoulder rocking. Left, right. Why do you do shoulder rocking? Warm the hands and you're making your initial contact with the person, and you're trying to get them to relax and have confidence in you. And so you're pressing on their shoulders. Okay, now we're going to go to our forehead massage. Move the skin on top of the forehead, make it small circles, nice and slow, nice and slow. You can use maybe 2 fingers or 3 fingers. You haven't got to have your whole hand plastering their head. Just a little couple of fingers there, moving it around. Now go to the temples, slow circles. When you press on muscles, when you physically press on them, it forces them to relax. If they have any pain, you can ask them, is that sore at all?
No.
Some people, when they sleep at night, they grit their teeth, and their temples are sore. And they'll say, ooh, I can feel that. If they say it's sore, then you do a little bit lighter pressure, but you still press on it. Now, you're going to stabilize the back of the head, and you're going to start using one hand to move the scalp, in the front of the scalp. You're making circles. You can use 2 hands and do the top of the scalp, make the skin move. We're at the scalp on the top, Roger, on the top. All the way. There we go. Yes. Open your fingers up. Make the skin move in circles. Now go to the back of the scalp. Slow, slow circles. All right. Now stabilize the forehead, and now we're going to squeeze the neck from the top of the neck right under the base of the skull.
That's really good. That's dreamy.
Then the middle of the neck. Not too hard. Is that too much pressure? You always ask and check with them. Now the bottom of the neck. Okay, you guys got that first part now? Do you have that? You can do that? So we've worked the head and the neck. Next one. Next one. Next one. All right. Now you're going to ask the person, could you lean forward just a little bit? And now with your thumbs on either side of the spine, you're going to make some circles. You're pressing. And you'll make some circles high. You'll drop down an inch. You'll do it again. Drop down an inch. Do it again. Drop down an inch. And you're just going to go right down the side of their spine making circles.
That's good. That's too good.
You feel that? And you may have to split your legs and bend your knees a little bit. Because as you go down lower, you're going to find that you're bending over more and more and more, and that's bad posture. So you may just have to split your legs or bend your knees. Sometimes I'll even just get a chair. Just go ahead and put your elbows up there on your knees there so you're relaxed. And you make those circles, and you go all the way down to their belt line or her skirt line. And you're trying to relax those muscles. Now we're going to go back up to the neck, and right next to the neck, you have a triangular muscle there, the trapezius muscle, and you're just going to start squeezing that. And you can do both sides at the same time or one side, doesn't matter. So now instead of squeezing the neck, we're using 2 hands, and we're squeezing that trapezius muscle. And then we're going to slide our hands out further and further to the shoulders until we get all the way out to the shoulders. And you're going to grab the shoulders from the side, and you're squeezing the shoulders. Is that too much pressure? Is that okay? Is that all right?
Yeah.
That's really good.
And then have you got the shoulders? You got that? Now turn your hands forward and get the biceps and triceps. Get that upper arm. Don't squeeze too hard, because some people don't have a lot of flesh and you're pressing against the bone. So just, if they have a big, meaty arm, you can press a little bit more. But if they have a delicate, thinner arm, and you can use your fingers a little bit, and you're just putting pressure. You can even get the forearms. And that relieves a lot of tension that people are carrying.
That's really good.
You're almost done now. So you're working your way down the arm, and then we're going to go to our last 2 things. All right. And our last 2 things are percussion. All right, so you're going to use your fingers. Pay attention now. Not the edge of your hand. It's too heavy, too hard. It's just the fingers. And the fingers are going to supply the percussion. So I like you to just use the fingers. You never use percussion over the bony area, only on tissue. So you're going to put on that triangular muscle next to the neck. Right at the top of the shoulder is a chromium process. It's a bone. Don't hit that. But between that bone and the neck, there should be tissue there. And you just work that with your fingers. And then you're going to do that down the back. This little, not the edge of your hand, just your fingers. That little, and just go up and down, both sides, not on the spine. That little percussion, it forces the muscles to relax. It brings blood to the surface. And then the last percussion is that you go to cupping. Put in your hands like this. So this, it makes a curve, and you do the same thing. You just cup. That having your hands cupped will avoid the beating pressure. Okay, and then the last thing you're doing for your stress massage, the cupping is what they call a light nerve stroke. And as light as contact as you can make, you just by the back of the head and neck, you just have your fingers just go. It's almost like a tickling stroke. And you just go down, and you go straight down the back, or you can go out to the side. And it's a very light stroke, and it actually stimulates the nerves. And that's how your massage is finished. So let's do our last half over. We're going to go to our percussion on the trapezius muscles with the fingers. Percussion on the fingers. So if he doesn't say anything, I've asked a question. I'll say, well, how was your day today? You ask him, you had a good day? He said, it's not so hot. So what was the problem? So I'm trying to get him to open up. And go down the back with your fingers. Go down the back. So what was the problem? He said, I don't wish to say. Well, why don't you wish to say? No. So I let that go. He doesn't want to talk about it. So I have to reapproach. Okay, now go to cupping on the back. Well, I hope this helps you, brother. I hope you feel like talking. I hope by the time you get home you feel better. And I'm praying. I'm saying, Lord, help this brother. He's got some issues. He might go off on somebody. And now finish with your nerve stroke. Very light, very light, very light, very light, very light. All right, you can take your seats. Unfortunately, we're not going to have time to switch and do the other person practice.
I thought I was going to be down here.
Let's put it over here, up against that side over here. Okay, so how did it begin? How did the stress reduction massage begin? Say it again. It began with rocking the shoulders. Why did we start there? It's a safe place to make contact, and it's warming up your hands, and it's relaxing them, and because you've now stepped into your space, you're you're developing your confidence. After the soda rocking, where did you go? Forehead. Then where? Temples. Then where? Scalp. Circles. The technical term massage is called friction. Friction circles. You're making friction because your hands are not sliding, they're moving the skin. Then where did you go? Neck. Neck squeezing, top to bottom. Then where? Trapezius. And then where? Down the back. Circles down the back. And then what did you do? Finger percussion on the back. Then what? Hand cupping on the back. And how did you finish? Can you think you can remember that? It doesn't seem like that's doing anything. I assure you, it will bring a angry person down, a depressed person up. Before they're finished, they're talking, they're smiling. There's something about that contact. By the way, massage, it is a science. They have studied it. There's big books written on it. They'll tell you exactly what happens when you do finger percussion. It talks about how the blood moves from the interior of the body to the surface, and that's called derivation, where it can decongest internal organs by bringing the blood to the surface, and there's many beneficial things that come from doing it. And my wife and I, we live in a trailer that's very long, and I work at the kitchen table. That's my office. Her office is at the complete other end, and she'll just disappear into that office. And every hour and a half or so, I make my journey back there. And when I get to the door, she drops her hands off the computer and pushes her rolling chair back and puts her head down. You know what that means? It's time, brother. And so I was like, yeah, so what you working on now? Yeah, I got these phone calls from Yvonne and Mark. I got to get these tickets booked. Okay, get on them tickets right now, girl. And I give her a massage right there. And this happens, what, 2-3 times a day. And she'll call me. She'll text me from the other side of the house. Brother Skeete, haven't seen you. But actually, when you put your hands on people, you actually are communicating love and warmth. Parents should hug their children. You can do it much more simply. Just give them a shoulder massage for just 10, 15 seconds. It'll do wonders for their health. Okay, let's see, how's our time? Are we ready for our break, or we can go for how much longer?
How much more do you need at the moment?
We got stuff. Let's go ahead and just take a 5-minute break. But people, please come back in 5 minutes. We're trying to get you out early. We know you have a long ways to drive. So go 5 minutes, get some fresh air, come back, sit down. We don't want you coming in front of the video camera when we are recording. So we'll take a break at this time, and we'll come back in just 5 minutes.